for our meeting today.
Check, check, check. Check, check. Better?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, you know what? I'll just hold it until between the budget meeting and the commission, right?
Because we should have a little time.
I hope so. Mr. Lyons is online. He's just quiet. So, Commissioner Lyons. Thank you. There's that one. Let's do this. Dear Renee.
I just wondered, I don't remember.
We are.
Yeah. No, but there's a cap for the building they built.
Sure was.
Exactly, okay.
Everybody ready? All right, let's call a meeting to order.
History of everything there.
Please rise and pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Taylor, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, I will. Vice Mayor Stanley,
Here.
Commissioner Orthwine, here, Commissioner Smith,
Here,
Mayor Morgan,
Here.
and let the record show that Commissioner Lyons is absent with notice, but will join the meeting by phone. Also present are Town Manager Denham, Assistant Town Manager and Town Attorney Nazaro, Police Chief Allen, and myself.
Thank you very much. We've been presented with the minutes from the lengthy August 12th meeting. Any corrections, additions, changes, or comments? If not, is there a motion to
so
approve?
moved.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a comment?
Where, would you tell us where? Yeah, hold on.
Yes, so under the manager's comments, this is where we're doing it, right? We'll be setting a special meeting for September 21 at 4:30 PM for two items. That would be awarding the existing ILA with Delray, amending the existing ILA with Delray Beach for building services, and this is regarding active permits.
Okay, we had a motion to
Move to approve the minutes.
approve the minutes.
first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I thought you had a comment on them.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
We gotta have second.
All right, we had
I'll
a
second it,
motion and
yeah.
second. Ms. Taylor?
Vice Mayor Stanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwine,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes,
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Any changes to the agenda, Mr. Dunham?
So I didn't finish. So, so the second item under number 5 is that would be on the meeting on September 21, would be approving an agreement with the Gulfstream Police Department Union. Also, under items for commission action, we would be inserting the approval of an amended ILA agreement with Highland Beach as numbers or letter C, and then C would become D.
All right, so Highland Beach Agreement will be item 10C.
Correct.
And then comments will be changed to 10D. Anything else?
No, sir.
Very good. Our next meeting is actually at 5:01 today, which will be the tentative budget meeting. As Mr. Dunham just said, September 21st at 5:01 will be the final budget meeting, but at 4:30 p.m., we will be having a regular commission meeting to address some important matters. Any comments from the public? Very good. We have an application for 996 Pelican Lane, the Pahotas. Any ex parte communications? If not,
None.
Mr. Nazaro.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Commissioners. So we received a call from Mr. Pahota maybe a week after our last meeting and had extensive discussions, both Rita Taylor and then separately myself and Mr. Dunham about how to continue procedurally. And I told him that it was my opinion that annexation should be done first. And then I pushed him to sort of get his attorney to send those materials over as soon as possible. We then sat around and did not hear anything until yesterday. Yesterday, Mr. Pahota's attorney did submit a complete application package for an annexation. I sent that over to our planner, Marty Miner, who promptly indicated that the application was complete and he had everything that he needed to do to start the process, and advised that he would be ready to put that on for first reading at our next commission meeting on October 14th. So that would put us for first reading for this annexation in October, second reading in November. Some of the directions, according to the minutes that were just approved, indicated that there were a number of additional items that the commission requested, which included new drawings that would be submitted showing a 5 by 12 pitch roof, vertical muntins on the front facade and on the back facade, second story windows, detail above the garage doors, and the pool reconfigured to what had been discussed at the meeting. At this point, just because the record has gotten a little convoluted with a lot of different meetings and a lot of different arguments about variances that are really not going to be sought after the annexation occurs, it would be my recommendation just for a clean record to deny the application at this point and have him start over once the annexation has been done, which he could easily do immediately after second reading in November. So we could have our first reading on the annexation in October, second reading in November. We could work with the applicant, get him to the ARPB with a revised application addressing some of the design concerns, back to the commission, immediately approved after the November meeting. So that would just be my suggestion. The architect is here. I believe that he was laboring under the assumption that his designs would be in accordance with an annexation with one parcel. So he would be redesigning, I believe, based on that assumption. So this is consistent with sort of our direction. And then at that point, again, we would have kind of a clean record. Mr. Pahota has indicated that he may still seek a variance for the pool setback. But again, new application, similar, but just without the variances and with one parcel that we'd be looking at. So, I mean, that's my recommendation. The applicant did indicate that they requested a that we defer the application to the next meeting. So I mentioned that I would bring that up. I just think that if they're going to want to just continue it to the next meeting and haven't been prepared over the next 30 days to make a presentation, that it's reasonable to just kind of clean up the record, have a new application that we consider. The only penalty, of course, would be, they'd have to reapply with a new application fee. But I think that the timing would be consistent with a clean record and getting Mr. Pahota's home approved in a reasonable amount of time.
Thank you. I agree. I think it should be a clean record. As far as the reapplication, we can rule today to waive that fee. Should we deny this application and they reapply, it would seem reasonable to me that we could allow them to waive the additional fee, bringing this matter back. The first two variances obviously are going to be inapplicable because it looks like the annexation will occur. I say we rule on the third variance. My recollection from the time where we discussed it, that we were not going to be entertaining variances, whether they had the property annexed or not. I think that should be addressed. And frankly, the site plan review, this will now be the second ARPB, third going on a fourth meeting. My opinion would be to deny this entire application and have it represented again when the property is annexed and fully situated to the ARPB, which is where it needs to go anyways. Any other thoughts? Differing opinions?
I was gonna say, we do have the architect here. I don't know if, and if you could just identify, step up to the microphone and
Yeah.
and
Be
announce.
sworn in, please.
Mr.
Swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I just wanted to basically say thank you very much for the time. We went back to the drawing board after all the
Mr.
comments
Bremer.
we had.
I'm sorry, can you just state your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Richard Bromer, representing the Bijotas
Thank you.
project. After all the comments that we got on the last meeting and knowing all the issues or paperwork that we have to do with the property, and as you know, the attorney has stated that we are proceeding with that paperwork, we went back to the drawing board. We redesigned all the first floor of the house, so the new design that we were going to submit for the October meeting basically doesn't require any variance. Pool is complying with the 20-foot setbacks. The house is complying with the 30-foot setbacks, and our FAR is complying with the required FAR for the property. That is considering the two parcels together, basically after the annexation is done. So there's not going to be any, presentation of variances or anything like that. That, in addition to all the comments as far as the 5 and 12 roof pitch, the additional mullions, and complying with the style of the
I may
house,
have
etc.
misunderstood, but I thought you were still seeking the variance on the
No,
pool setback.
no,
whether
we
you annexed or
redesigned,
not.
and that's one of the reasons why we don't have paperwork. We just finished yesterday, actually,
Okay.
redesigning the first floor of the house so we comply with the pool for the 20-foot setback.
Is that here?
No, we,
No, we have not.
yes, like I said, we finished that this week, so we couldn't produce all the paperwork,
Okay.
and I was here just to basically ask to defer the
So you want to
presentation.
defer it to the next month,
If
October,
it's possible, yes.
but you won't have the annexation by next month.
I think the first hearing is going to be on that meeting. I don't know exactly the process. That is something that Chris and you've been dealing with, so.
That's right. So it does take 2 readings. So that would be, that'd be before the annexation was finalized.
Right, and then properly, it should go back to the ARPB, right? Or
Well,
not,
if-
we can decide to.
If you decide to
Carry
do that, right.
Well, you have basically the first floor is entirely redesigned.
Well, the back of the house is
The back of
not
the house.
completely
Yeah,
redesigned.
new
We basically
architectural
push the
elements.
back of the house so we can push the pool in.
We have
Mhm.
pools in a new spot, so there's no variances, but we got into the situation last time when we were designing the house on the fly. So,
Yeah.
It's a span of a month, which is a lot, but
So your recommendation is what?
send it back, 'cause that way it's timed up when the second reading occurs.
Right.
It comes to, will it be the same meeting presumably if everything is approved?
November
I know we're going
November
through the
meeting.
calendar briefly.
Second Friday of November, that will be the
It would
second
go
meeting.
to the October 27th ARPB
Right.
meeting, and then come to us in November with the
November.
second read.
So the
Yeah.
second reading of the annexation would be at the same meeting. That's the right way to do it, which is the staff Trey's recommendation. And then the ARPB needs to look at the
Right.
pitch, the revised architectural elements, and everything that the lower board typically does before it gets here.
Right, that makes sense. We certainly don't want to entertain it before you have the property.
Oh, no, I
So we
completely
don't want to do
understand it.
it today, we don't want to do it
Don't we
next
just-
month. And it really should go to the ARPB, that's the
Okay.
proper way of doing it.
Mhm.
So I agree with the vice mayor, that's That's what you should do.
Yeah.
But we are allowing them to go to ARPB after the first reading, just to clarify that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then
We
it'll
gotta
come
get
to
it
us.
all in ASAP, like
Yeah.
today, tomorrow,
Yeah.
next week, review it with the staff and get it on the agenda for the next ARPB meeting. And that's, just as an aside, so that the applicant's not overly frustrated, even though this is taking a long time. Permitting and construction drawings, we weren't gonna get immediately processed anyway because of, what we're seeking to get done this week with Highland Beach and everything. So, it was.
Actually, the silver lining on that, Delray Beach is taking 6 months to some release permits. Highland Beach is 2 months, so we're saving 3 months there.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, right?
so that'll speed up.
So
We
that's,
really couldn't do
you know,
anything
we're speeding
anyway
up on
if it
that.
had been approved in
Right.
September, August anyway. Just so that, again, we're trying to work with the applicant as much as we can. It's been a hard project. We
Yes.
get it. And we want them to be successful. So.
Yeah, and we want to comply with, all the requirements. We don't want to, bend the rules or anything like that, so.
Okay,
So do we need a motion?
so do we need a motion to do this, or are you just withdrawing the
Yeah,
application?
you want to, can I make a motion to deny it in full?
Sure.
And in the process of resubmission, waive the application fee.
Very good.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second?
Ms. Taylor?
Is that okay?
Vice Mayor Stanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Thank you, Mr.
You're
Brewer.
more than welcome, and I will keep.
We'll
seeing
see you again.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to reports from town manager. Actually, probably Mr. Nazaro updating us on the request for Casa Soleil.
So last month, it was,
No, I just want to say, our town attorney here did a wonderful job in his presentation to the Delray Beach City Commission. We did have several residents there that all did very well in their presentations. They didn't repeat the things that, other residents said. So they had, this was well planned out, and I do believe that Mr. Nazaro's presentation actually changed some minds up there on the dais. So I'll let him.
right, so last month we updated you that, there was a meeting in Delray Beach the following week. So we had that meeting now 3 weeks ago. It seems like it was forever ago. So long ago that the Coastal Star has already reported it in the newspaper. So we did get the majority of votes to deny the rezoning. So just really something that when we started the process, the Place Au Soleil Homeowners Association did not think that's something that we could do. But the collective, might of, our mayor making an appearance at the meeting, our town manager, a lot of our residents putting together, like the manager said, a lot of well thought out arguments that were not repetitive, but that built on each other. We had 2 of our ARPB members there as residents making comments as well. And I'm just very happy to report that the rezoning from general commercial to automotive commercial failed. So it's a big win for our residents over there. They were extremely happy, as was I, that we could accomplish that for the town. And at this point, we're just kind of watching and seeing what comes next. Not resting on our laurels, but making sure that the Gulfstream is well represented in whatever future happens for that parcel.
Very good. Yeah, it was well done. Made very persuasive arguments, particularly about the size of this proposed space compared to the size of the Gunther space, which was allowed, and the fact that really Delray has an inclination to move these auto dealerships to the west side, where there's more property available with less involvement with residential properties.
And they do own property on the opposite side of the road.
So very good, Mr. Nazaro. Kudos.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Yes, the building department services activities, I just thought we would bring you up to speed on the status of our new arrangement with Highland Beach. And so I would ask Rebecca, who is, again, our principal intake person for our permitting, and she and Dina have been training over at Highland Beach for the last couple of weeks on their software. And I'll let Rebecca tell you what we've been doing the last week.
For the most part, the process has gone seamlessly. There have been a few just kind of unforeseen things that came up, and we understood, both our staff and Highland Beach's staff understood this would happen, that we've had to accommodate and kind of redirect certain things. But so far, it's gone very well. Contractors are uploading permits, multiple permits every day. So, and we're working well with the staff over at Highland Beach, where everybody seems to be very pleased. All the feedback that I've had back said that the website and the process is very intuitive. It's very simple. So, good on this ILA.
Great. Any questions? Seem to be near the finish line on this.
Yes.
Very good.
I would like to tell you the staff has begun researching the need for us to perhaps raise the maximum height on our seawalls. The best example is at the Davis residence, 588 Banyan. There with the new FEMA, finished floor elevations now. Their finished floors are higher than the maximum height that we allow for seawalls.
Joe, this is Paul Lyons, Olivia Lyons, Dave Andrus. You and I have spoken previously. I am going to be away out of the country starting on Wednesday next week. And I wanted to see if there's any items
relevant. Well, then just continue.
So just give me Paul Simon an update, see if there's anything I need to do before I leave. Thank you.
With our construction around here. So basically what we're looking at, maybe there's more, but two possibilities of just simply raising the maximum height town-wide to a certain height, or perhaps fashion the ordinance or the amendment to set a height with like a foot or a foot and a half above what your finished floor elevation is going to be. So, it's something that, I mean, we've already started looking at other towns and cities and how they're addressing that. Some are in the process right now. Others are still thinking about whether they want to do that or not. I'm not sure if Ocean Ridge is considering that, or.
We've continued to look at it, and it's a sticky wicket because if you raise one and the house is on either side.
No, we understand.
You're creating a nuisance potentially for your neighbors on the other side.
That issue continues if you go with a floor area connection. That is, it seems to me you want a uniform look to the town.
Right.
So setting a standard height would make more sense to me than having it vary depending on the location and height of the property.
Right.
Eventually, I mean, you're going to get the crenellated look initially, but eventually it'll be more uniform. So I think we need to give guidance to staff as to which direction we think they should go.
A foot above elevation, first floor?
You want to peg it to a height, not to, because finished floor elevation
that's a
will be
lot.
different until every house is torn down that's below.
Right. Well, I mean, that's one of the
Some of the new
alternatives.
houses are going to be a foot below the newer houses.
Yeah, I mean, what
Right.
you're gonna
Oh,
end
sure.
up with like
I know.
this, and then neighbors like that, and when you have the water coming over the top of the seawall and
Right.
those other ducts, it's just getting behind the seawall and eroding that. See, I mean,
Yeah, that's the downside to.
I gave you my standard answer. I'm not an engineer. Let's ask one.
You just practice it. You're just
No,
not a
I'm
licensed
practicing.
engineer. So.
So.
But anyway, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. We're looking at ways other cities, if they have begun to address seawalls that are lower than what the finished floor elevations of their houses are. So, I mean, if we're successful and get, are able to research it well enough, we would have an ordinance for you at the October meeting for us to discuss.
Well, but which direction would you be heading? A set height or one that?
Well, those are basically the
Varies.
two alternatives as to how to do it that we know of. And if we find other ways that towns have addressed it, we will certainly, consider that. But yeah, if you want to give us some direction on which way to go, I mean, we certainly.
So even an older house, I don't want to belabor this, even an older house has to redo their seawall, you let them come up to a maximum thing, and then they have to put in all this dirt,
You gotta backfill it.
and you have to
Yeah.
backfill it.
Right.
I mean,
Well, I mean, they wouldn't,
yeah,
I mean, we wouldn't require, for instance, the Stokes house. I mean, if we were to pass this amendment, it wouldn't apply to them because they're grandfathered. It's not until new construction occurs on the lot, correct?
We're talking about the finished floor elevation.
Well, I mean, if we were to make this,
Mandating height.
Yeah, but if you pull a permit to redo your seawall, you're gonna,
Yeah.
regardless
Well,
of whether you
that's-
tear the
that's-
house down or not, your seawall's gonna be
That-
here.
that's
and
true.
backfill and slope.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I mean, that may need to be done, although it's not aesthetically pleasing in the near term because you're trying to protect, against our king tides and everything else. Why would you rebuild the seawall at a lower height? So it'd be either a new seawall or new construction, either one. But usually, you can have one without the other.
yeah, that's true.
right?
I just want to clarify that.
No, we understand that, that's the downside of just attaching a height of a seawall to the finished floor elevation.
Yeah, wouldn't we be more inclined to
The height.
tie it to the height of the wall than
The
tie it
height
to
should
the
be
floor?
independent of the
Should be
finished
independent.
floor
That's what-
elevation.
I would have
That's
been in
what I
that
think.
direction.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's more standard.
okay, well, we'll go that direction.
And then that lends itself to the other issue that we have all been studying for a while, and that is the impact on roof heights.
Right,
By raising the floor elevation, you're raising those roof heights. It's into an issue we've been trying to address. Okay,
let's see, and.
tree farm.
Okay, we have successfully irrigated our new tree farm, and it didn't cost us $15,000 or $16,000 or $17,000 like we thought it was. It was about $1,500. So we can now
Found the line.
begin to work on establishing a new group of trees. And that's it. Oh, let's see. Yeah, we need to go ahead and set, or did we set the meeting for September 21st? I guess we did.
We did.
Okay,
To 4:30.
4:30. Yes.
right. Okay, that's it.
Okay, next ARPB meeting is September 22nd at 8:30 for anyone who wishes to attend. And we're back to the finance report.
Yes, sir. This is, of course, we're in the last month of our budget year. And there's not really anything outstanding in this report to you. So unless you have any questions, we would ask that you approve it.
I will accept it as submitted. We'll be talking budget later. Chief, please report.
I request that the report be accepted as submitted, and I'd like to let everyone know that we were able to do training at the school before they opened up. We were also able to train with a ballistic shield, which we had purchased 2 of them for cars. I have one here, I'll show you if you don't mind. We purchased them, and hopefully they'll never have to come out of the car. The shield actually is a very simple. Put it on, you lift it up, and you look through the shield. Crouch down and you're moving. This is a gun rest here, gun rest on that side. You hopefully have a partner behind you who's got a rifle over his shoulder. You try to crouch to get as much of your body protected as possible. This is completely bulletproof. Rifle only rounded will not stop is armor piercing. Glass is bulletproof, so you can look through it and get hit in the glass and.
What's it made of and how heavy is it?
Very.
32 pounds.
You're welcome when this meeting is over to go try and pull it up.
Chief lifted it pretty easily.
Well,
That's why I was asking the
Look how big
question.
it is.
Thank you for your support and allowing us to purchase.
Just following up on that, Chief, I thought I heard that the school may be having their own security.
They do, as well as the same gentleman that was there last year. Actually been there 3 years now.
Okay, good. And you work in
We're working with them.
conjunction with
Much as we can.
with their staff. Good. Very good. All right, let's move on to items for commission action. We have ordinance 22/6 that's brought to us for second reading. Ms. Taylor.
An ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, amending the Town Code of Ordinances at Chapter 42 Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 2 Construction Standards, Section 4226 Adoption of Codes by Reference, and Section 42-27 Issuance of Permits and Inspections, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for codification, providing an effective date, and for other purposes. This was passed on first reading on the 12th of August, 2022, and it's being presented today for second and final reading on this, what is it, the 20?
It is the 9th of September. 9.
For the second reading and adoption.
Thank you. Our ordinance 22/6 has been presented for second reading. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Taylor.
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Ordinance 22/7. This is an ordinance that proposes to add an additional alternate member to our ARPB. As you may know, we've been having difficulty, particularly in the summer months, having a quorum met. So it makes sense to add another alternate member to improve our chances of a sitting board during the summer. Ms. Taylor, would you read that ordinance?
An ordinance of the Town Commission, of the Town of Gulfstream, Palm Beach County, Florida, amending the Town Code of Ordinances at Chapter 66 Zoning, Article 2, Boards and Commissions, Division 5, Architectural Review and Planning Board, Section 66-72, Board Membership, to increase the number of alternate members eligible to be on the Architectural Review and Planning Board from 2 to 3, providing for severability, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for codification, providing an effective date, and for other purposes. This is being read in a regular adjourned session, and this is the first reading, this 9th day of September, 2022.
Thank you very much. Ordinance 22/7 has been presented for first reading. Any comments, questions, or motion to approve?
I move it be approved.
Second.
Ms. Taylor.
Vice Mayor Stanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. All right, Mr. Dunham, hurricane debris removal contract.
Yes, sir. What we have before you is we are piggybacking off of 2 mutual aid agreements for hurricane disaster debris removal between Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County and DRC Emergency Services, and a similar mutual aid agreement for hurricane disaster debris removal between Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County and Crowder Gulf. These are 2 contractors. It gives us a backup in case, one is busy at another city. So these are 2 contracts that we've met with both of the companies, and we they're local. The one we have now is out of Georgia. We just feel safer with these two contracts.
Very good. Any questions?
Well, they're set fees by countywide.
That's right. We're piggybacking off the same prices that
Right.
were given to the solid waste
So
authority.
both contractors, same price, there's just a backup contractor.
I don't know if the prices are the same. Our initial, or sort of our first will be DRC Emergency Services. We have met with them, a large meeting with staff, the police department, sort of getting a good idea of exactly what the process is for reaching out to them and what our process is like. So we feel like it'll be a very good relationship in the event that we do need to reach out to them. So.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the hurricane debris removal contract with DRC Emergency Services and the backup contract with Crowder Golf Joint Ventures, Inc.
Second.
Ms. Taylor?
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes,
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Finally, the Highland Beach agreement, Mr. Dunham.
All right, thank you, Greg. So we brought the interlocal agreement to Highland Beach, and they were totally fine with it, accepted it 100%. They just added a clause at section 2, paragraph 7. The sentence reads, Highland Beach will be named as an additional assured on the liability portion of Gulfstream's insurance policy. They just wanted to add, as reflected in the attached certificate of coverage, Exhibit A. I don't feel like it changes the contract at all whatsoever, but just as a safe stopgap, safety measure, just wanted to make sure that we have an identical contract that was approved by both bodies. So it just presented for your approval is this amended contract that includes those less than 10 extra words. It is identical in all other regards to the contract that was approved by you at your last special meeting.
does it require a motion?
Yes.
I move we accept it with the changes to section 2, item 7.
I second.
Ms. Taylor?
Vice Mayor Stanley.
Yes.
Commissioner Orthwein.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes,
Mayor Morgan.
Yes. Thank you very much. Items by commissioners. I have. Beside the possibility that Mayor Koch was the most influential person in the town of Gulfstream's history, I'm willing to submit that Rita Taylor is actually one who had, at least in my experience, the greatest impact on this town. Every applicant who has come to this town met with Rita. Every resident who ever had a question would call or stop in and speak with Rita. Every contractor, every developer would go through Rita, and I can tell you the many responses that I would get back from those people, particularly residents and contractors, was that they loved working with the town of Gulfstream because they loved working with you. You're smart, knowledgeable, always helpful, and honest. And you got things done. And that is something that is unusual in a government worker. And so it made quite the impression on the people, at least that I have spoken for. And so it is with a sad reluctance that I announce that Rita is retiring from the town of Gulfstream effective the end of this month. And while I'm sure others will have things to say, I want you to know that personally, when I first came on this commission and started acting as mayor, you were the one I turned to. You always helped me, not only with great advice, because historically you knew everything.
Well.
At least I thought you knew everything. You always gave me sound advice, and it was honest advice. And that guided me in what I did. And I think it inured to the benefit of this town. And so I will miss you very much. Mr. Don.
Yes. And likewise, Ms. Taylor, Rita, we have been friends ever since I came to Palm Beach County 25 years ago. And so we've worked off and on at the same cities. So I've learned to really depend on your advice, your historical knowledge, and we'll miss that. But I did ask you if we could still call you, and you said yes, just not call you on your cell phone. So just keep that regular phone that not too many people still have available for calls when we need you. So I would like to present to you, and this is a small token of the staff and the town commission and the town of Gulfstream's appreciation for your commitment and love for the town of Gulfstream.
That's lovely.
With my knee, I have trouble getting down the steps.
We'll let Renee do it. And I think that deserves a round of applause. Of course.
Rita probably doesn't remember this, but we first met in Bethesda Hospital.
Yes, I do.
You do. You don't say anything. My dad was quite ill. You were visiting in the hospital, and we started a conversation. And I had been to Gulfstream a number of times to visit my father, but she explained to me more than I probably ever would have known about life in Florida, about governance, about just about everything. And I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that here's a person that I had never met. And she was so interesting and so involved and had such good ideas. And I as I think about it, that was a long time ago.
Very long.
A very long time ago. And this is a kind of impression that a person makes on someone else that you can never forget. And so I want to thank you for being such a terrific person. You're a very good clerk, but you're just a terrific person. So good enough.
Well, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank all of you. And these are lovely.
Well, you know, what are you going to do when the residents finally find out you're retiring? They're not going to let you.
Give them your
Do
cell
you know
number.
what? If you live in the town of Gulfstream, everybody knows you, Rita.
Well, it's going to be a change, but I've got a lot of work to catch up on. So for a while, I won't have time to do anything else.
No ladders, right?
No ladders.
No matters.
Plenty of yard work.
But I did hear that she may
I
be
don't like how
spending,
you just laugh when I say that.
I did hear that she may be spending more time at the beach.
That is
Probably.
Well, Rita, we all will miss you very much.
Thank you all. And I'll think of all of you, even though I won't be here. And I'll be watching the paper to see what the Coastal Star is going to have to say about our meetings and the meetings you're going to have, because my interest will not die.
Well, it is a public building. The door is always open.
Well, thank you. And who knows, I might take advantage of that.
well, that would be great.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Well,
Rita.
thank you all very much for all these years. And I've enjoyed almost all of it. There was a period there that I won't even talk about.
Well, with that, let's conclude our commission meeting. We will reconvene at 5:01. Okay.